Good afternoon and welcome to our latest Silver Touch webinar on SAP Business One. In today's session, I'm going to focus on purchasing and how we use SAP Business One to manage this process. I'll be doing this as a scenario where again I play the role of Jason Butler in charge of purchasing for OEC computers. The issues that are being experienced are that different employees place orders with vendors without coordinating with each other. As a result, the company returns many of these products and excessive stock is being held. In addition, they would like to try new vendors, but are unsure about their service and prices compared to their current vendors. The aim of this project is to have better control over the purchasing process and reduce the levels of inventory and the number of items being returned. So I start with a Business One cockpit dashboard which is tailored for my role. Looking at some of the charts, I can see several metrics. Inventory value is above my 5 million target, and we want to keep our inventory as low as possible. Now, if we look at goods returns, they're already in the red, and this is the start of the month, showing that we've already had significant returns. Given that this is the start of the month, I can see that I have already had many purchases too, if you look at the total purchase amount. And this is actually getting close to my monthly limit already. I can also look at other metrics. Most notably, we're going to look at the top 5 purchased products. Now, if I look around, I can see that these are hyperlinked. I know these particular codes, so I can see that one of the items is a fairly low-value printer, and that's quite surprising. I need to drill into the item master data, and I can actually do this directly from the cockpit view. Looking at the item master data for the printer, I selected the Inventory tab and can see that I actually have way too much stock. In order to exert some control over the inventory, I set a maximum quantity of 30 in order to prevent any future unnecessary purchases. Now, I do need to know more, so at this stage I go back to the detail and look for more detail, and this time in the Open Items Purchase Analysis. Now, this is a dashboard view that actually shows me that I buy this item from many different vendors, and those are at a variety of costs. The item ordering quantity shows me that there are significant quantities on order, and those are going to be arriving soon. Clearly, I need to exert some control here. So I've created an Excel report which is actually embedded in the application to analyze the percentage returns for the current year. I click on this report and then I open Excel. I can see by items and items groups the quantity received versus the quantity returned. And similarly, I can also look at the amount received versus the amount returned. I've created a formula to calculate the percentage of returns, and if I scroll down, I can see that some of this is significant. So what I've decided to do is include authorizations for any requests coming from the purchasing department. And to do this, I create an approval template. Using approvals, I can define who creates the document, what type of document, and what terms, and also who will be approving it. I can set multiple tiers or levels of approvals if needed. So first off, I select all of the purchasing department users. Then I'm going to select a document, and in this case it's going to be a purchase request. In the Stages area, here I select the internal requisition approval, and then I'll define that as myself as the approver. Now, if I look at the Terms tab, I leave it on Always, although I could also set additional terms and criteria if I wanted to. Now, I'm going to be notified whenever I need to approve any new purchases. Now, the company would also like to explore using additional vendors in order to reduce costs. And the way that we do this is by launching the Purchase Quotation Generation Wizard. And I can create multiple purchase quotations for multiple vendors. Once I get their responses, I can analyze the best offer and convert that into a purchase order. Now, I've already created a scenario for a new printer. I select it and then move to the next step. I need the printer by the end of the month, and I will accept any offers up until the 15th of the month. I set the quantity at 10, and then, most notably, I'm going to hit Next. At this point, I see all the potential vendors that I can buy from, and I can make changes to this list if I want. By creating an online quotation, the system will send individual emails to all of the vendors with a link to see and update the quote. Once they submit their offers, the information is brought back to SAP directly. Now, as this is a demo, I'm just going to execute it in order to get the quotations. At this point, I can see the responses from the vendors. And you'll see there that there are 3 different options, and I can select each of those using the golden arrow. The first can deliver the full quantity on time, and that'll cost $300. So I just need to update that into my record, and then hit Update. I can then look at the second one, again using that golden arrow, and in that second bid that's come in, we can see that they can deliver part of the quantity on time with a balance to follow for a price of $280. So again, just update that. And then moving on to the third option that's come in, where they can deliver the full quantity, but that will be a couple of days late, but the cost is $250. So I've now updated all 3 of those quotations that have come in. Now what I'm going to do is open the Purchase Quotation Comparison Report, which I find in the various items that run down the left-hand side. I select Group 7, which is the batch of documents that I've just created, and that opens that particular report. The highlighted figures in red show who's made the best offers. Now, after some analysis, I decide that a few days' delay is worth the potential cost savings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the third option, the third vendor, and then I'll convert that into a purchase order. What I'll do is close the rest of the quotations, as I'm not going to need those anymore. So all of those processes are managed from doing the research, getting the quotes in, choosing the best option, and launching the purchase order, all directly from SAP. So let's look at a summary of what we've achieved so far. What I've shown is that by using SAP Business One, it can give me better control over the whole purchasing process using different dashboards, KPIs, and Excel reports. In addition, using SAP Business One, I also did some research on offers from different vendors in order to secure favorable cost savings and process those into the resultant purchase orders. Many thanks for your time today, and please look out for our next series of webinars that will be coming up during the month.